marry. So be picky and take
Sure,
these red flags into consideration.
be picky, but I feel like we're getting into another conversation. We'll
Yes,
have to
we
go
are.
to another time.
Yes, yes. And so I just wanted to say that to get it out in the open. So that's why I'm picky, you're picky. We know these things and these red flags we're mentioning so we can make proper decisions.
Hmm.
Um, One, and it's obvious to everyone and everybody knows this, but it's easy to make excuses for, but I'm going to say it anyway. Lies. When you catch somebody lying or deceiving you in the beginning of a relationship, it is a dark red flag. When
Yeah,
you see it multiple times, it is a black flag. Get
yeah.
rid of them. And I say that without equivocation. It is always proven true. And I've been out with many, many women, and I have many women friends who went out with many, many men. It does not matter the gender or sex. Get rid of them.
Yeah, there's no argument towards that
And
at all for
and the
anybody, I
thing
don't think.
is, they will explain it away, rationalize it, reason it to you, and I'm here to tell you, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Don't let them do it. Just nod your head, yeah, okay, and stop going out with them. They are not long-term material.
On a lighter note,
Mm-hmm.
Zodiac Signs.
Oh,
I'm out.
you're done?
I'm done. I'm
They can't
done.
go, oh, I can tell you're a Pisces. You're done?
I'm done. 100% done. Oh yeah,
Wow.
that's really cool. Anyway, next person. Cuckoo. Cuckoo.
That became big in the 70s. That means I'm neutral with that just because it's one of those pop things that is meaningless to me. So I'm okay with it. Doesn't bother me.
I what I will give to soften that blow, I know I'm being very harsh right now,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
a
It
lot of
is. That's
people,
what you are. Yeah. It's with
yeah,
this.
a lot of people use it as a icebreaker, as a conversation
Right, right,
starter. I
right.
get that. I don't abide by it.
You don't abide anything about it. Well, to you, you're just
Negative.
over it. Yeah.
Negative. I
Is
care not. I don't even remember my birthday most of the time. It just recently happened. I had to be reminded multiple times by people on the day before of.
is that a black flag event for you? Asking your sign?
It's not a black flag. It's a hard red flag, though.
It's a
You
bright red.
you might, if you don't get away from that conversation really quick, we have issue. If you start saying you started making decisions based off of that
You
sign
got you got a
in
real
your
problem.
life, I'm gonna start. Okay, bye bye.
Yeah, yeah, that's a black flag for you. Like that's
Yeah.
that's your identity, and you make decisions based off of that, and your life revolves around what zodiac sign you are.
It has to be very lighthearted as a conversation starter. Like, oh,
Right,
what's your
right,
sign? And oh, that's
right.
funny because you don't act like that at all. Anyway, that type of thing.
It has to be like what's your favorite color type of thing.
Pretty much.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
about it.
that's true. Yeah, I don't like I said, I'm dead neutral about it. So it means nothing to me. Um, Another big one, and it's similar to other ones about their family and friends not liking you, but this is inverted and not reversed, but inverted. I know it's going to be weird, like what? Uh, if all of their exes were asses and jerks, all of them, and everything was their, yeah, that's a no. That's a real hard no. That's a big, big
I
red
feel like
flag.
you're hitting more second stage stuff here because you can't
No,
know these things until later
no,
on.
you have this in first stage dating. You find out what they think of them, how they think, how they respond, how they
Yeah,
communicate.
it depends on
This
how
is
you
all, yeah, this is
orchestrate your
all,
dates.
this is all first stage dating. This is getting to know you phase. And sure, you're getting to know somebody in stage two, but stage two is where you're meeting family and close friends and having dinner with them and spending time with them, and they're getting to know you. To me, that's stage two.
Gotcha.
Stage one is you're getting to know each other superficially, past the superficial level to, okay, who are you and what do you really think and about these things and what's really happened to you and what's your past like and that kind of thing. Not more than, so where do you work,
Yeah, I think a lot
kind
of
of
the
thing.
cruxes to this is we date differently, and I've been told this to my girlfriend that I'm a lot slower on my approach. I talk to you for at least a week or to up to 3 weeks before I go on a
Yeah,
date
well,
with you.
your stage one is via video. Yeah, right.
Well, I'll text them. I'll text
Or
them and have
texting, like,
conversation with them for and
yeah, but
phone
you're
calls
doing
for a long
that.
time.
yeah, you're doing that through online communication or through phone
I'll share
communication.
phone numbers pretty quickly, but after
Yeah.
that, I'll text for a while and then
Yeah,
phone
mine
calls for a
is we're
while.
dating and we're going out to dinner or going to an event
Hmm.
or something, or even just each other's houses or apartments or whatever, and talking about these things and eating, watching a movie or a TV series or something. That to me is stage one. That's how you're getting to know them. Just, being with each other, hanging out, talking, going through life, seeing how they respond, seeing what's important to them. What do they talk about? How do they talk about it? And what do they think about things? That's all stage one. That's how you get to know somebody. And if they're claiming all of their exes were asses, I mean, oh, he was this, he was that, and they just won't, all of them, you know, that's an issue.
Yeah.
That's a real issue.
So I'll go into building off of us dating differently. One of the flags I look for, then you're not going to relate to, is how they text back. You're not going to because
No,
you
it
don't
makes
you don't
sense.
approach this.
No, but it correlates to how do they respond back in speech to you about certain questions.
Not even that. It's how they try to manipulate conversation towards you.
Same thing. It's just they do
Um,
it in person.
to give an example is say you're always starting the conversation and then you don't for a day and see what they do and then they say that you're never wanting to talk to them anymore or something crazy. So you just because you notice you're always the one starting the conversation
Oh, and you
and
just
then
give them the opportunity to do it,
and they
and they
never
get
do
and they never do, or they get mad if you do.
and they get mad that you didn't. And it's like, okay, that's
Yeah,
weird.
I
Red
don't
flag.
yeah, I'm an older guy and I'm dating mature women, and that is not a thing for me. If they I'll say this, as a mature woman, if they made an issue about that, that would be a big problem for me. I
Yeah.
would have to say, "What are you talking about? If you want to text, text. If you don't, don't."
Hmm.
There's no other meaning attached to it. If you start assigning meaning to that sort of thing, you're creating problems where there are none. And yeah, that would be an issue for me. That is something high school girls do, young young women. Really, that's how I think.
Hmm.
If you're still doing that at and you're in my dating range, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. I don't. If I wanted to date high school women, I wouldn't because I don't. It's just no. But if I were looking to date younger women with those kind of things, I would try to do that, but I don't, and I don't want to deal with that issue.
Right.
So yeah, I get that. Um, yeah, that's wild. Oh, another another flag. If they have an ex, like, oh, they had a couple of bad breakups, perhaps they had most of them. They realized they weren't compatible, but they stayed friends. That's all well and good. That's to be expected. Or they're friends with all their exes. That's okay too. They're just that kind of person. They don't like to hurt people's feelings and they're able to smooth it over. That's actually a good sign up to a point. But if one of their exes is still their best bud and they were engaged and they're still over at their house all the time, they're like a brother to them. But and that's okay if they're that close, but they shouldn't be there every time you're there, or they shouldn't be cutting into your time and you're having to share her. That is a problem. Nothing wrong with being, you find out, hey, I get along real well with this person, but we can't be in a relationship and he's like a brother to me. Okay. But every time you show up for something, there he is. Every time you want to talk to something, he's calling or texting and she's got to answer back. And she's talking to him more than she's talking to you, or almost as much. That's a real problem. Or his decisions mean more than yours, and you've been trying to make this work for months and you're the romantic interest and that guy's not. And that goes the other way around. If you're a woman and that guy has a woman friend that's like a sister, that's all well and good. But if she's constantly texting and calling that guy and he's talking to her as much as she's talking to you, that's a big no. That-
I can definitely see that.
yeah, and that happens more often than when people would like to admit, just because they get along so well. But they need to move on. There's nothing wrong with having somebody close and being a best friend that's of the opposite sex, but there has to be boundaries.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, my girlfriend, she had that, and they're not as close now. But when we were initially starting our relationship, they were pretty close.
Hmm.
But it never infringed upon our relationship. He was
That's
never
that's the thing.
Yeah, and it never
Right.
compromised anything about us
Yeah,
by any
then that's
means.
healthy. They're friendly. They like spending time with each other. They talk, but it doesn't infringe upon your relationship or change her decision about you, or take away any of your time and attention of any real degree. So
Hmm.
nothing wrong with that. You know.
Yeah, I would. I know you're not gonna relate to this one. This is more of a that the last two I have are more young and problems. Is the first one degree? What type of degree do they get? Because most women now get a college degree coming out of
Hmm.
high school.
Yeah,
If they
they
got a
more women
liberal
have degrees
arts,
than men now. The younger,
yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
If they got a liberal arts degree, or if they're in
Yeah, liberal arts is all right. That's a
no
classical degree.
negative. If they have a liberal arts degree,
Wow.
political science degree,
Oh,
or they're in a large debt because of the degree and they have
well,
nothing to show for it.
that's one of my. If somebody's in a lot of debt, that's a big red flag. And I'm going to tell you the reason doesn't really matter unless they were married to somebody that plunged them into debt and they're having to pay it off and they didn't know about it. There's very few exceptions to this. But in general, debt for any reason, even student loans. Well, who doesn't have debt from that? Well, that's your debt. That's not somebody else's. That's for your life, for you as a person. That's not for somebody else to pick up and carry.
I
And I
don't
know that,
mind student debt. It's whether or not you actually did anything with accruing that debt.
like, you did it, you made it in a smart way. You did it towards a degree that's going to propel you into a career that's going to pay well and give you a secure future, as opposed to something in the creative
Yeah.
arts that you're never going to
Enhanced
be able to pay it
knowledge
off.
that you don't do anything with.
Right?
Yes.
You can't do anything with it, right? Because there's no jobs at the
To
philosophy
yeah,
department
to
factory.
facilitate that. Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree. That means poor decision maker.
Hmm.
Yeah, their fantasy life or what they want is more important than what's really going on out there. Right. Well, what if they have that, but they have another degree that actually they put forth and use towards making a life for themselves?
That's fine. Then they
No
actually
problem.
use their degree
Right.
for enhanced
That
learning
shows
for
they
the
were
actual meaning of it.
right. That shows they were aware of what life's really like, but they wanted to do that other thing and they were willing to spend money on it, but they can dig their way out. So that's
Yeah.
okay with you. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
Hmm.
But on your part, you're saying if you're willing to go in $100,000, $50,000 worth of debt, and now you can't get a job because of that poor decision. Yeah, that's a problem. I can't disagree with you there, son. I would say that is an excellent, excellent rationale, and you really have to be strong about it too, because it's easy to give excuses for them, especially if you think they're gorgeous and they're nice and they get along with everybody and all this. They're going to continue to make decisions that put
Oh, I feel
them
bad for so many men
in a
because
bad way.
that urge to provide is so strong,
It is strong. It is
and
tough to overcome.
you
You
want
want
to
to
be the
help them.
savior.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. White knighting will kill you. And here's the thing: the, that type of thing, it's dragons they are creating. So every dragon you slay, there will be two more right behind them
It's a
because
hydra. It's not a dragon.
right, because you just killed one, so now they get to make one or two more because they don't have to worry about that one anymore. Yeah, it's a never-ending thing. So yeah, I would say that is a definite red flag,
Yeah.
um, and an excellent point.
The next one, I'll just
Mhm.
throw the other one in here. Um, kids.
Yeah,
That's a young thing. I know
yeah.
you don't have that option as an older man, but as a young guy, having kids,
Well, no, some
red
women
flag.
waited till later, so you'll have some women who had kids much later, and I have to say, yeah, that would be a big red flag for me too, because one, why did you wait? Why did you think that would be a good decision? I would have to question your decision making process, how they're being taken care of, how it impacts your life, and how do you expect it to impact my life? I would not say it would be a black flag event, but it would be okay. It would be a red flag. It would be something to concern me for
That's a black
sure.
flag for me. I'm not dealing with
Yeah, I
kids.
would say for your age that would certainly be a black flag. And I would have to look at it hard. I'll say this one, and especially it's in early stages of relationship, phase one, so to speak, stage one. Love bombing. If you have only been going out a short time and they are just bombing you with how much they love you and want to do things for you, have to text and call you all the time, want to see you whenever you are able and available, don't allow you any space and want to be next to you at all possible times, that is a problem. That is a problem on so many levels. I can't even begin to describe it and give it justice because we don't have enough time here. But that is a giant problem.
Even in long conversation format, we don't have enough
We
time.
don't have, we do not have the time. But if you have somebody just coming on strong and hard and relentlessly and then becomes petulant when you call them on it and try to enforce some sort of boundary and say, look, I have things I need to do. I have to do this. Of course, I want to see it. It'd be nice, but I got to do this. And then they start becoming angry about it or trying to put you in a bad situation for it. Yeah, that is no.
Too
And it's
clingy
like, it's
is
only
another way.
because I know you're my type and we get along so well. They're going to give you all these rationales and then they're going to put it on you that you're just somebody who doesn't want to spend time. You're just using them. They're going to put the blame on you. Of course, they can't be blame because that's just how people are. So, yeah, if they start that, yeah, giant red flag. Giant red
Yeah,
flag.
clingy. I'm a little bit partial about clingy. It's probably because I've never gotten it all the way. I know I haven't. It's just not the type of
Yeah,
women that I
clingy is
go
a
for.
pleasant way to put it. That you want to be
Yeah.
close. I'll call it love bombing because they start ramping it up pretty quick if you allow the clinginess, and it
Hmm.
becomes a wet blanket enveloping you.
A weighted wet blanket.
Yes, warm and gooey, and you can't get away from it because it constricts your movements, and then they become angry when
Yeah,
you call them
obsessive.
on it. Yeah, that goes to a host of issues that it's only going to get worse. Remember, phase one is supposed to be the beginning of the best part of it. You're supposed to be learning each other, be as pleasant as you can. You got your public face on, and you're starting to let the masks come off to see who they really are, and you're still pleasant about it, and you're understanding how that person thinks and acts and looks at the world. And if that's the time that it starts getting weird and something that's uncomfortable for you, that's a problem. That's
Yeah.
as good as it's going to get. It's only downhill from there most of the time. So, so that is a definite red flag.
I'll put out. I'm not sure which one to put out first. Is how they dress in public.
And what do you mean by that one? Because I know you're going
Uh,
to anger some people.
if they're too promiscuous
Hmm.
with their dressing style and they're doing it for attention beyond you.
Man, that's old school. Um, I I would say that
Now,
would
I'm probably a
depend.
lot more liberal with my definition of promiscuous than old school is, but it has to be quite
Yeah,
obscene for me to be like, okay, that's a little much.
yeah, and yeah, and you're and again, we're talking about long-term relationships. You know, we're not talking about hey, we're just going out and have a good
Oh
time.
yeah, if it's just
She,
good time.
she can dress however she
Yeah, she can
likes.
care. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Like they're starting to be with you, and their closet looks like they work nighttime on the streets for money, and they have nothing else to wear that could possibly go to like the state fair with or anything. Um, you know,
Or they go to the state fair in that. That's
yeah,
weird.
yeah, because they have nothing else to wear. So why do they
It's
need that
weird.
sort of attention?
Even if they
That
do have other things to wear. We're going to some restaurant that's a podunk little restaurant somewhere, and you're in the tequila dress or whatever cocktail dress. I don't know what do they call them
right.
with high heels, 6-inch high heels, and we're getting po' boys. What is wrong with you right now? What are we doing? What is this?
Well, that leads me to think there may be other things, but I would say your gut instinct would be correct. Like, what's going on with you, and why are you doing this? Like, why do you think that's necessary? And again, I'm not saying we'd be angry or frustrated about it. It's just something you need to look at and deeply consider.
Yeah,
That might
that's not a
just be
black
who
flag.
they are. Right. That's
That's
not a
not a black
black flag.
flag. It's
No,
just
that's
weird. It's a
hmm
red flag.
right. Like, what's up with that? Oh, that's just how she is. And here's the thing. I've known a couple of women who do just that. They dress what other women and many men would deem inappropriate. They overdress for certain situations. They like clinging dresses that
Hmm.
some might say are not appropriate for the situation. Now they're business style dresses, but they're built so well that other
They want to
women
show
get
off their aesthetics a little bit.
yeah, other women get a little green when they see them, and men just can't help but look, and that is just tough to overcome. And they are good people, mean nothing by it. That's just what they like. That's who they are. And you talk to them, you wouldn't know any different.
They're vying for attention.
But
That's how it is.
they feel
Underlying.
good when they're wearing that, and
I'm sure they do.
they do like the attention, I would have to say, or they wouldn't wear that. So that's an issue you have to consider. And like you said, it's a red flag. It's not a black
It's
flag
not a
issue
problem. It's not a
unless it's a
big problem.
problem, right? Coupled with other things that might be one, but by
Right.
itself, it's not one. Yeah,
Yeah, by itself it's over, it's definitely just an obstacle. We can talk about it and figure out what's her mindset
right.
behind it and see.
And don't get me wrong, men do that too. You got a guy who wants to walk around downtown in shorts, no
The,
shirt,
yeah, the super
in hiking
Chad
boots. Yeah, yeah,
with the
because he's got a
cutout.
six pack. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's going on with that? That is not a long term person, unless you don't mind sharing the dude. If that's
Right.
if that's okay with you, knock yourself out. But you will be sharing, whether you know it or not. Just understand this, and I think most people know this, so it wouldn't be a surprise to anyone at that point. Um, the other one is somebody, you're in stage one and they're overly secretive. I'm not saying you should be trading passwords to each other's stuff. What I'm saying is you don't know where they live, and y'all been dating for over a month. You don't really know where they work or what they do. They tell you, but it's in vague terms, and you don't really know much about them, and they know all about you. And how did this happen? And you're asking, you're saying, hey, you want to do something this weekend? Oh, I can't this weekend. Oh, okay, what you're doing? Casual stuff, something that normal people talk about and discuss with each other, especially if they're getting to know each other, and they won't tell you. Like, oh, well, I'm just going with some friends to some vague place, and we're going to do some vague thing that could be true or not. And like, wait a minute, you've been dating for a month. They should be telling you, should know who these people are at this point, or at least they want to tell you who these people are, because they want to introduce you to their friends and family at this point, or stop seeing you. They should be giving you names, not to say you know who they are, but it should be specifics. And it should be no big deal. So why is it a big deal? Why are they not telling you? Something's up. I'd say that's a red flag. And I say a month, could be 2 months, but you know what I mean. You're still in stage one, and they're deliberately, but you're moving on, and they're deliberately not giving you any info at all, and you freely given much of your personal information, because why not? That's how they get to know you.
Yeah, that's I've heard this story many a times with men and women.
Yeah, I
Them.
guess gender doesn't matter. I mean, we're talking from a hetero male perspective, but gender does not matter on these things we're talking about.
Yeah, the relationship eventually collapsed. They find out they've been married. The person's been married this entire time. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I didn't really know too much about that person.
Right, right. And it's easy because you want to like that person. You get along great with them. They talk well. You spend a lot of good time with each other. They're fun to talk to, great personality, good social skills. You do things. You like them. You're attracted to them. You have all these things going on. Everything else is fine. And then you realize, wait a minute, they don't tell me really much of anything, but they do talk a lot and distract me from what I was asking from in the first place. They are not a long-term person, and whether you know it or not, they don't think you are either, or they'd be telling you these things. And that's my other point on that. If this person is not giving you this specific information and is not willing to let you know who their friends are and what they do, then you're not considered a long-term prospect, or they'd be telling you. They'd want you to know.